This is a video demonstration of the Affirm VNF Manager. The first thing we're going to do is log in into the Affirm Acuitas EMS, from where we can actually invoke the VNF Manager. The first screen you will see is your standard EMS screen showing the different VNFs and different cluster that the EMS is managing. In order to get to the VNF Manager, you can go down to a pull-down menu, select VNF Manager, and click on Cluster View. This will open a new screen in the web browser, and the screen here shows the different clusters that the VNF Manager is connected to. The next step we will do is apply a dynamic policy to the cluster itself. So this is a pre-created policy. You can create a new one. In this case, we're going to show the different metrics, the different KPIs that each VM uses in order to trigger either a scale out or scale in. For the DCM and WSM, we have session utilization thresholds, upper at 75 and lower at 25 by default, which can of course be changed. And for the ASM, we have connection utilization and throughput. In this case, we have set them to small values just to demonstrate the triggering mechanism. The next thing we'll do is simply drag and drop the policy into the cluster. So now this particular cluster has the policy that we just viewed. This is the screen with the different elements or different VMs that belong to this particular cluster. You will see on the left side the different VMs being configured, and on the right side the actual utilization in terms of session as well as throughput. In addition to that, we show the VM CPU and the VM memory utilization as well. So what we will do is we will trigger traffic in the background. In this case, we will start generating a large number of sessions in order to trigger a VM scale out. So as you can see from the screen here, the sessions are beginning to increase, and this is impacting the utilization on both the DCM and WSM. So once it reaches that purple line, which is set currently at 75%, based on our dynamic policy setting, a new VM will be triggered. In this particular example, we are showing a DCM trigger, but the same can be applied for others. As you can see, the new action has been triggered by the VNF Manager. This is to create a new DCM VM as part of this existing cluster as it applies to the policy that we already created. So this will take a few minutes to set up. The VM goes to several different steps, which includes downloading the actual software, downloading the personality of the VM, and actually configuring the VM itself. And once that's completed, here in a few minutes, you will see the change in utilization on the DCM itself. You will see on the right side the completion of the VM initialization. On the left side, you will see the VM actually being added, in this particular case, the DCM being added to the cluster. And in the live monitoring of the KPIs, you will see the thresholds. The threshold will remain the same, but you will see the number of session utilization actually drop. So you can see here already the number of the session utilization for that particular DCM is going below the 75% threshold because we just added an additional DCM. As I mentioned earlier, this can be also applied to WSM and ASM in the same fashion. This was just an example of one of the VMs. The next thing we're going to show is the physical view, just to see, in addition to the cluster view, this is the actual physical view and the different VMs and where they actually are configured as part of the actual chassis or as part of the actual server that is serving this particular cluster. Once we go back to the utilization, you will see now the session utilization has almost gone below 50%.